Welcome back. Joining us now is Maria Alonso, Chief Operating Officer of Citrus Health Network and Chair of the Children's Trust Board of Directors. Maria, you've been spending a lot of time in Tallahassee, a lot of that time working on Medicaid reform. What's happening with that, and why is it important to children and families?
Well, Medicaid reform really changes the way that the state is going to pay for health care for children and for adults. Right now, the state pays the claims, and what they're trying to do is say we're no longer going to be the insurance company, and we're going to transfer that responsibility to insurance companies. And there's a variety of things. There's HMOs, provider services networks. So the fear of the advocates is that once you change who pays the bills, that there will be less access to care, to services. I think my message to people that are going to be affected by Medicaid reform, particularly Medicaid eligibles that will be coming into the system, you have a period of time that you can choose the plan you're going to be enrolled in. So the minute you become Medicaid eligible, find out about where's your doctor, who's covering him, what medications are they going to be willing to pay for. If you have a disabled child particularly that has a lot of problems with medications and with special procedures that are really the ones that are going to be costly, find out which is the plan that will be willing to pay for that. Because as a parent, your responsibility is to make sure that you get the best care for your child. And that's really what will change. In a fee-for-service world, the doctors, the hospitals, the labs, the special procedures get billed directly and Medicaid pays. Not now anymore. Now you're going to have an insurance company making those decisions. So that's really the key. The key is make sure that you know what's going to happen. Because Medicaid reform is coming and it's going to be a fact. You just need to be informed as to what you have to do to make sure that your child and you get the care you need.
Where do they get that information?
Well, there is the Medicaid Program Office actually does have a line where people can call in and get counseling as to the plans that are available. And they can ask all those questions. It's just that people don't know it's there and they don't do it, but they can do it.
Let me ask you about this legislation that we've been hearing about that would combine information about kid care at the time that you apply for the reduced or free public school lunches.
Yes.
How do you think that's going to play out?
Well, we've been really good about getting it into the Senate bill. So, and the House bill hasn't really moved it. I think it's going to be a matter of conference when both sides of the aisle, the House and the Senate, sit down. They look at all the provisions of the bills that are different and negotiate whether it's in or out.
You think it's going to go through?
I think it should go through.
Well,
because it
sounds like a good idea. But
yes, it's a wonderful idea because it really doesn't increase the cost of Medicaid.
Right.
It's going to give access to people to be able to buy health insurance for kids, the Healthy Kids program. And they, parents pay depending on their ability to pay. We still need to continue advocating because there is so much of a budget deficit and so much a concern that it's going to affect the budget that we need to keep working on both sides to make sure it stays in there and that we don't lose that provision.
And it's killing two birds with one stone.
Yes.
I mean.
Yes, because if not, you have to do a double application. People are still applying.
Right.
This just makes it easier. It gets away, it takes bureaucracy away, really, if you think about it.
Yes.
Maria, so far, funding for mental health and behavioral health services for children has been preserved.
Yes, yes.
Tell us why this is so important to children.
Well, the funding that comes from the state for mental health and substance abuse for children is for the uninsured. If you have Medicaid, if you have Healthy Kids, if you're covered by a private insurance company, you have access to services. If you're uninsured, there is no way that you can access services unless the state funds the network of providers that they have to provide this. The schools rely on it. Anytime there's a child that has a crisis in school, there is a crisis unit that receives that money so that the child can be brought and be evaluated. Psychiatrists get paid through that, social workers, psychologists. So there's a lot of services that children can get to prevent them from getting sicker, to prevent them from going into a residential program or some type of an institution or even a hospital. Because what you want to do is to fund the services in the community so that you can prevent kids from getting into deeper end services or more difficult services, more costly services.
What about children with disabilities? Any progress in reducing cuts to their programs?
The governor rescinded the cuts that he had done to the rates a couple of weeks ago. Last week, I think that it was going to be effective this week. There was a lot of work done by the disability advocates. Tallahassee last week was full of the disability advocates, and they were very successful in convincing the governor to reverse the cuts. So now what they're working on is for next year, making sure that it's funded well. Children have done pretty well this session, considering how bad the budget is. The fight now is making sure that we keep some of the mental health and substance abuse services for adults that will impact the families of those kids that may need it. We don't want that to happen. We don't want a reduction there, because you don't want families not to access services and then have children have a problem and end up in the child welfare system. A lot of the kids that come into the child welfare system is because families have problems either with mental health or substance abuse. So we want to make sure that we preserve that funding, and that's what we're fighting for as well.
So it's not as bleak as some would have it. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you.
Thanks for the work that you do and keeping us updated on what's going on, and we'll certainly be keeping a close eye on the legislature in these past few days. Now, this, of course, is right on the heels of the legislative sessions in the Children's Trust Family Expo. Coming up on Saturday, May 14th, you will want to come to see the greatest free family event in all of Miami-Dade County, and here is what it is all about.
The Children's Trust Annual Family Expo, sponsored by Target, features valuable resources, activities, and entertainment for the entire family. It provides parents with direct contact to a wide variety of programs, health and social services, even free books, courtesy of the Family Learning Partnerships.
It feels great to be able to be at one place and see the impact that the citizens' investment in children is returning to the community. You have after-school programs, you have parenting programs, you have injury prevention programs, you have kids who are performing and who are so talented.
In a fun and entertaining environment, more than 200 exhibitors distribute important information. And this year, for the first time, a hands-on edible garden activity area provided by the Education Fund and Baby and Me Playtime by UM's Families First program.
I've seen a lot of animals.
Well, it's good for the kids, you know, it puts people out there, you know, you get them some knowledge about what's out there for them. It's definitely a positive event.
Attracting more than 20,000 visitors a year, this amazing event offers tons of family and kid-friendly activities for all to enjoy, indoors and out, plus the ever-popular appearances by children's favorite characters.
We've got bounce houses and rock climbing walls. We've got face painters, balloon sculptors. We're giving away books so that people can, you know, build up their home libraries. It's an amazing environment. It's free parking, free entrance. Every activity is free.
Everything looks good. They have good childcare things that would be good for my son as far as daycare, after school programs. Looks like it's really eventful, very informative.
The Children's Trust Family Expo, the biggest family resource fair in Miami-Dade, all at the Miami-Dade Fair and Expo Center. For more information, call 211 or visit thechildrenstrust.org.
How could you possibly miss that? Free! I'm Ileana Barella. On behalf of the Children's Trust and Modesto Betty, we want to thank all of our guests and, of course, all of you for watching this special edition of Our Children. Enjoy the rest of your day, and remember to be a voice for your children and family during the remaining days of this legislative session. And always, bye-bye.
Our Children is brought to you by the Children's Trust. The Children's Trust invests in programs and services that help make children healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeed in school and in life. To access its funded programs and services in Miami-Dade County, visit thechildrenstrust.org or call the Children's Trust helpline at 211, because all children are our children.